Today is an absolutely beautiful day to dive headfirst into the absolute madness that is our favorite daytime simulation. Grab your snacks, hydrate, and buckle up because we are about to go on a wild ride through the latest updates. Oh my God. Stop scrolling right now. I'm literally speechless. Are they for real? We need to talk about the absolute bombshell that just dropped regarding Ethan Lovett crashing at Lulu Spencer's place because this is about to change the entire trajectory of the Port Charles universe. I've been standing this since the literal stone age of the fandom, and honestly, if this is either a total peak glow-up or a straight-up flop era for the series. We have Ethan Lovett, the ultimate grifter, the prodigal son of Luke Spencer and Holly Sutton, casually unpacking his duffel bag in the same house, where the most explosive life-ruining secret in town is currently being hidden. Ethan is not just some random NPC wandering into the map. He is a hyper-observant, a street-smart con artist who can smell a lie from 3 time zones away. The fact that the writers are putting him in such close proximity to Lulu and Rocco falconry is low-key the most brilliant setup we have seen in years. No cap. Let us deeply analyze the absolute mess that is Rocco right now. This poor kid is a nervous wreck, and honestly, who can blame him? He is carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders because he literally shot Ross Collum on Pier 55. Rocco pulled the trigger to save Britt, Westbourne, and Jason, and now Jason is rotting in a WSB prison taking the fall for a teenager. Rocco is spiraling. His mental health is in the trenches, and he is exhibiting all the classic signs of a character who is about to crack under the immense pressure of a god-tier storyline. Duh. I'm so shocked my jaw literally hit the floor when I realized just how fragile this entire cover-up actually is. Britt Westbourne is fully in the loop now, and she is doing her absolute best to shield Rocco from the devastating fallout of his actions. Britt knows exactly what it's like to be hunted, and her protective instincts are on full display. But let us be real for a second. If Rocco could not even hold back this massive secret from Britt, what makes anyone think he is going to be able to hide it from a literal master of deception like his uncle Ethan? The boy is practically vibrating with anxiety every single time someone mentions the WSB or Jason. Besties, can we unpack the audacity of Dante falconry for a second? Dante had the absolute nerve to sarcastically reply to Lulu that advice from Uncle Ethan was exactly what Rocco needed. The sheer irony of that statement is sending me into orbit. Dante is out here acting like Ethan is just a bad influence, completely oblivious to the fact that Ethan's particular set of lethal underworld skills might be the exact thing that saves his son from a lifetime in federal prison. Dante is playing checkers, while the rest of the criminal underworld is playing 4D chess. And it is honestly so frustrating to watch him stumble around in the dark while the truth is right under his nose. The proximity is what makes this so incredibly dangerous and thrilling. Ethan is going to be crashing on the couch, eating their cereal and observing every single micro-expression that crosses Rocco's face. Ethan is a guy who survives by reading people, so it is only a matter of time before he notices that his nephew is jumping at shadows. It is highly probable that Ethan is going to eavesdrop on a highly classified whispered conversation. Imagine Ethan standing in the hallway completely silent, listening to Lulu and Rocco having a tearful breakdown or worse, listening to Lulu arguing with fake Nathan West, aka Cassius. Cassius being in Lulu's orbit just adds another layer of complete and utter insanity to this dynamic. Cassius is pretending to be the sweet, deceased Nathan West, but he is actually a ruthless face and spawn who knows exactly what Rocco did. If Ethan catches even a snippet of a conversation between Lulu and Cassius discussing the Pier 55 shooting, it is game over. Ethan's protective instincts for his sister and his nephew are going to kick into overdrive, and we all know that when a Spencer goes into protective mode, absolute chaos inevitably follows. Wait, let me break down how this entire system actually functions under the hood. Also, you have to consider Ethan's current employment status in the intricate web of mob politics. Essentially, Ethan just secured a massive, highly lucrative job working for Sonny Corinthos as a mercenary enforcer, completely ignoring Rick Lansing's paranoid warnings. But get this, Ross Collum is currently one of Sonny's biggest, most dangerous foes right now. Column is a massive thorn in the side of the Corinthos organization, constantly threatening their operations. So Ethan targeting Column would perfectly align with his new mob duties. It is the ultimate two birds, one stone scenario that proves the writers are cooking with absolute gas. I am actually losing my sanity here. When you realize the impossible lightning reflexes and total kinetic chaos moments that are about to erupt when Ethan connects the dots. If Ethan realizes that Column is not just an enemy of Sonny, but also the man who is actively threatening the life and freedom of his teenage nephew, Ethan is going to go absolutely ferocious. Smash that shift key, because the absolute carnage that Ethan is going to unleash on Column will be a straight-up masterclass in god-tier mechanical execution. Let us not forget the deepest, most personal lore attached to this entire vendetta. Ross Column has a highly toxic, incredibly dangerous alliance with Jen Sidwell. Yes, the same Jen Sidwell who tortured Ethan's mother, Holly Sutton, and put his brother, Lucky Spencer, in extreme, life-threatening danger. Ethan harbors a burning, deep-seated hatred for Sidwell. The fact that Column is allied with Sidwell gives Ethan the ultimate, undeniable motivation to wipe Column off the face of the earth. It is not just business, it is deeply, profoundly personal family vengeance that cannot be ignored. Wait, I'm getting way too deep in the weeds with all these interconnected mob alliances and historical grudges. My brain is just firing on all cylinders because the narrative potential is so incredibly rich. Anyway, back to the actual gameplay and what this means for the immediate future of Port Charles. Ethan is keeping secrets of his own, and while he might be a con artist, he has not taken an evil turn. He is an anti-hero. He operates in the gray area, which makes him the perfect candidate to execute a Sidwell and Column takedown plot without the moral hesitation that holds other characters back. Remember when they tried this with Michael Corinthos? Yeah, it went nowhere back then, either. They had Michael shoot Claudia Zycara to protect his family. And the cover-up was an absolute dragged-out nightmare that completely ruined the packing of the show for months. I am terrified that the writers are going to drag out Rocco's guilt in the exact same way, making us suffer through endless scenes of him looking sad in the background while the adults argue in circles. We need Ethan to step in and decisively end this plotline before it becomes a stagnant, repetitive mess that ruins the momentum. Is this same tragedy happening to Jason all over again? Jason is literally sitting in a WSB cell, sacrificing his own freedom and his relationship with his son, Danny, just to protect someone else's kid. Jason has spent his entire life taking the fall for the Corinthos and Spencer families, and it is honestly exhausting to watch him be a perpetual martyr. Ethan needs to step up, take out the threat of Column permanently, and free Jason from this endless cycle of self-sacrifice. Jason deserves to be home with Danny, not rotting in a federal prison because a teenager got trigger-happy on a foggy pier. I know some people are really enjoying the slow burn tension, but personally, I need explosive action right now. The fandom is so divided on how to handle Rocco's crime, with some people wanting him to face the music and others wanting a clean cover-up. But honestly, the only satisfying conclusion to this mess is a highly coordinated, stealthy elimination of the primary threat. Ethan Lovett is the only character on the canvas right now who has the guts, the skills, and the motivation to actually pull the trigger on a massive, game-changing assassination plot against a WSB director. This is just my personal take, and many might disagree. But I firmly believe that Lulu's maternal desperation is going to be the explosive catalyst for Ethan's deadly action. Lulu could not bear to lose Rocco. She has already lost so much in her tragically chaotic life, and the thought of her son being locked away in a dark cell or brutally murdered by Column's ruthless goons would absolutely break her fragile sanity. If Lulu spills the secret to her half-brother in a moment of sheer panic, she is essentially handing Ethan a loaded gun and pointing him directly in Column's direction. It is a dark, twisted, incredibly compelling display of family loyalty, and I am absolutely here for every single second of it. Don't you feel it's so unfair for them? Rocco is just a kid who was thrust into a terrifying, life-or-death situation, and now his entire future is hanging by a thread. And Jason is losing precious time with his own family to protect Rocco. The emotional toll this is taking on everyone involved is just staggering. Ethan's stepping in and taking drastic, potentially deadly action against Callum is the only way to balance the scales of justice in a town where the legal system is completely broken and corrupt.